Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
And let's talk about what lessons have found.
Let's hang out.
And let's listen to 2 lesbians shout.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
Welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I'm Lee Holmes Foster.
And I'm Ellie Brigida, and here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And of course, we have to start with our first live show at the Bell House, February 18th. We're so excited to see all of you there.
It's getting so close. It's happening. It's going to be before you know it. So get your tickets. Get them now. Come hang out in Brooklyn.
Heck, yes.
Also, we have our Taboo Toys contest. 2 ways to enter. The first one, if you have a ticket to the live show, send us a copy of your ticket to enter to win a She scissoring vibrator. The other contest you can enter is for a Svacum Luna and Celine vibrating remote bullet combo.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, right? The way you can enter for that one, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, put up a picture of you and your queer crew, tag us at Let's Hang Out Pod, and tag Taboo Toys at Buy Taboo Toys.
Beautiful. We really want to give you all kinds of vibrators. Here we go. And we also have a new Patreon perk. We're super excited. You can get all of our episodes completely ad-free for just $1 a month. Wild. So
Crazy.
Join us at patreon.com/leshangout. We'd love to see you there.
We also would love to see you at Klexicon. If you're going to Klexicon, come hang out in Vegas. We are also going to be recording a live episode at the convention. We cannot wait. It's going to be great. I just rhymed. Come hang out.
We always rhyme, Lee. We're a rhyming family here.
It's so true. In this house, we rhyme.
In the greater Les universe, we have to talk about The Favorite. I have seen it.
Yes.
Lee has yet to see it.
I'm working on it.
It's so freaking good. I'm so happy that Olivia Colman won Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes because her performance as Queen Anne is amazing. So
She's a queen, is what you're saying?
She's just the best. Yeah, she's a queen.
Got it.
So happy that The Favorite is getting some recognition. Hope that it also gets some recognition at the Oscars and we have some more lesbian movies just raking it in.
Have more excuses for Rachel Weisz to talk about this movie. And
wear the outfits.
How much she likes kissing women.
Yeah,
you know,
because
whatever.
we love her and we want to just keep seeing her do that. So
Excellent.
with that, back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee, and welcome to our 20th installment of Should Have Been Gay. Are you ready, Ellie?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. Oh my god, I'm so excited. In this week's episode, we are going to make our dreams come true.
Doing it our way.
That's right. Many of you probably know we're doing this episode. I'm excited about it, but it's also a little bit bittersweet because Penny Marshall passed away recently, and Penny Marshall is one of the stars of Laverne and Shirley, which is the Should Have Been Gay that we're doing this week. She's also, I would say, a gay icon, even though she was not herself a gay woman.
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
And this, just to say, this is our form of a tribute. There is no greater tribute in our minds than to explain how your show just touched little gay hearts everywhere.
Exactly. So thank you, Penny Marshall, for being the gayest Laverne. ever.
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. I mean, and Penny Marshall herself, just besides the character, she directed A League of Their Own, which we've already done a Should Have Been Gay on. Probably one of our favorite Should Have Been Gays. So right there, love her.
Already a boss.
And she's just a feminist icon. She was working in show business pretty much her entire life. Their whole family was very show business related. Gary Marshall, who wrote Laverne and Shirley, actually is her brother. But also, she was a director in her own right. And Jumpin' Jack Flash was the first movie by a woman to gross $100 million at the box office, which she directed and wrote, which is amazing. So, we love you, Penny Marshall. Let's talk about how gay your character was.
It was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
I think it's great. I really enjoy that there's just been a lot lately of like, you know, we talked on this in our I Love Lucy episode, talking about it now with Penny Marshall. I think the same thing at the Golden Globes where they just recognized Carol Burnett. There's a lot lately of like how much women have done for comedy, and it's just, I am here for it. I love it. So we're gonna keep that rolling with Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
So for anyone who is not familiar with Laverne and Shirley, if you are like me and have not really watched a lot of the show, this is the fantastic and very detailed IMDb synopsis of Laverne and Shirley. The misadventures of two single women in the 1950s and 60s.
Well, I mean, true.
Nailed it.
Well,
Nailed it, IMDb.
Nailed it. It's a sitcom, so to be honest, it doesn't really have that much of a through line plot. But I need to give a little bit more detail on what this actual show is about, because that just does not do it justice. So, Laverne and Shirley are two working girls, right? They're blue-collar workers in Milwaukee, and they make ends meet by living together as roommates because they can't afford to live on their own and they're unmarried. Right?
I'm with you.
Interesting. And they do get into a lot of misadventures. My gay synopsis is that Laverne and Shirley are two, obviously, they're a couple that lives together in a Boston marriage in Milwaukee, live together, work together, play together, and ride bicycles together. Gay.
Gay.
Yeah, that's it.
Done. Okay, yeah, I think my lesbian synopsis would go as follows. The classic roommate to lovers trope set in the 50s and 60s in Milwaukee, featuring two Jewish femmes, one kind of femmier than the other, and that's it.
Amazing.
I think that's it.
And featuring Shirley's cute as hell lesbian haircut.
Oh my god, like the gayest little haircut. I love it. I've had that haircut, I'm pretty sure, so that's fine.
Yes. All right, so let's jump in. Clearly, Lee, we know your experience with Laverne and Shirley is minimal, but why don't you start with your experience with Laverne and Shirley, since I told you we needed to do a Should Have Been Gay on Laverne and Shirley.
So I have done some research in preparation for this episode because I am committed to our Should Have Been Gays and to you, all of our listeners. And my experience is what a gay-ass show this was.
Right?
Oh my god. What I love more than anything, I've had this same experience with I Love Lucy, with Facts of Life, all of these sort of older classics that I haven't really watched as much of. And they are just so gay.
Yeah, just like...
I love it.
Like surface level. Like, honestly, you don't even need to dig that deep.
No.
And they're just super gay.
Like, I feel like right now, you know, when you have people who have, like, non-canon ships and all sort of, like, you're kind of reading between the lines, you're, like, looking for, like, such subtle things, interactions. There's, like, oh, they said this word in this sentence this way, emphasized, and you're, like, kind of trying to pick out, like, each teeny tiny detail, breadcrumb. This, you're just, like, I mean, like, they kissed.
Yes.
So
they actually kissed. more than most
or
non-canon ships. Like, they actually, they consummated the the relationship.
It's a little much. Like we are going to have some really compelling arguments that I have very strong opinions about for all of my 10 minutes of watching clips of Laverne
Which
and
is
Shirley.
honestly like all you really need to really understand that this is just a gay show.
I think so.
Yeah.
What's your experience with Laverne and Shirley, Ellie?
It's honestly pretty similar to my experience with I Love Lucy. But I grew up with all of those like older shows. I loved watching TV Land. And so Laverne and Shirley, I'm pretty sure, was like on right after I Love Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would watch them back to back. And I loved Laverne and Shirley. And looking back, I'm like, of course you loved Laverne and Shirley. Like, because I'm like smiling thinking about them. I totally had such a crush on Shirley when I was younger. And I'm just like, oh, they're so cute and fun. And like all the guys are irrelevant. And it really, irrelevant's the wrong word. Because I love Lenny and Squiggy. But definitely not worthy of dating.
And they weren't the reason you were watching.
They were not. No, they were
Yes.
definitely not the reason I was watching.
Shirley, huh? You usually go for blondes.
I
It's new
know.
for you.
It's sort of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
mean,
good to
I love
branch out
I
sometimes.
love Laverne too, though. They're honestly, they're such yin and yang that it's
Yeah.
like you can love both of them just for like completely different reasons, you know? Which I think
Yeah.
is why the show works. I want to give our listeners some extra information on Laverne and Shirley. I just find so many of these older shows with really strong female leads just so interesting because, of course, like we're still pushing to get representation and to get more female-led shows on air.
We're still dealing with bullshit of like, well, women aren't funny.
Exactly. But when you look at it, Laverne and Shirley was #1 in the ratings for 5 years.
Yes.
So it's like you literally have a comedy that centers around two single women who like dated some guys, but none of them really stuck. And you can see, even in the 70s, that that's what people wanted to see. You know?
And they were rated higher in the ratings than Happy Days, which is the show that they were a spinoff from.
Exactly. And like Happy Days is obviously far more centers around male leads.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's a coincidence that Laverne and Shirley is #1 in the ratings because it's because that it was female fronted. So
Yeah.
I just think that's awesome. And I would like to just mention that Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, who play Laverne and Shirley respectively, also wrote a lot of their own material because they were just hilarious women. And they were very like into their characters to the point where I was watching this like biography special. They were saying that they would get in fights with the writers because they were like, my character wouldn't say that, I'm rewriting it. Which,
Nice.
gave them a little bit of a reputation for being divas, but also I think is sort of great.
And I think the takeaway there is, girls, ladies, be divas.
Yeah.
Do it.
If you know, you know. Like, let them know you know.
Yeah. Own your own worth, you know?
Yes, exactly. So that's a little bit of background on the actual show. Obviously, the characters that should have been gay are Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley. I mean, this is a gimme.
The title characters.
We're not doing anything super subtle here.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
It's Laverne and Shirley.
Pretty clear. I mean, all you have to do is just change the fact that they're together, and you don't change the title at all. People are like, oh, Laverne and Shirley, about a couple.
Uh-huh.
Great. Easy.
I love Laverne and Shirley. Have them for
Yeah,
dinner.
I love them
Yeah.
together.
Great.
Exactly. I also, honorable mention, would like to say Lenny and Squiggy should have been gay. Lenny and Squiggy are basically, they're the two men who live next door to Laverne and Shirley, and they always are barging in and being ridiculous. Gary Marshall said that he put Lenny and Squiggy in because they needed two characters to be dumber than Laverne and Shirley, which I think is so funny. And they are, but they're also in love with each other. So my ideal Laverne and Shirley is Laverne and Shirley are together, Lenny and Squiggy are together, and they're just a lesbian couple and a gay couple that just hang out all the time. Because
I love it.
to be real, that's pretty much what happens. They're like always in a foursome. But they're never together. They make it very clear that Laverne and Shirley are not interested in Lenny and Squiggy, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much exactly the same show. Yeah.
So should we start building a case for Laverne and Shirley?
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's start with they're living together. I mean, there is no more classic trope, I think, in, like, lesbian stories, especially in, like, fan fiction. Man, roommates
Always.
to lovers is just, it's...
I mean, like, I can name off the top of my head multiple people in my friend group who were roommates and then started dating. Like, it's a thing that happens.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Also, yes, they live together. In my version, I keep going back and forth between if I want them to just already be together, but it's a secret because it's the 50s. And then they live together and they're like, they just don't tell anyone they're gay, but they've known, you know?
Yeah.
Or if they start living together and then feelings develop.
I mean, if I had to vote personally, I'm always going to vote for the slow burn.
I know you're a slow burn. You're a slow burn
am.
gal.
It's just, I can't help it. You know, you want the angst, you want the, like, just, is she thinking the same thing that I'm thinking? Did that mean what I thought it meant when it meant to me? What are these feelings? What's happening? I mean, it's just,
You need
come
the
on.
tension.
You could have, like, a whole, like, 2 seasons or so just of that, you know? As long as there's a payoff. I mean, you can't do that and then just, like, gay bait endlessly, but, like, the payoff, man, that's all worth it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the actual show, it went on for 7 seasons. Neither of them got married until season 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, easy. There are no male love interests through season 1 through 5 who really stick. There's, like, they have Carmine, who's Shirley's on and off kind of guy. But
Yeah.
I think that's...
Well, and that's the description, is like 2 single women, which I just feel like that's basically, you know, like this time period code for, like, gay women.
Exactly. They're so single, but they always have each
so
other.
Single and living together.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're doing there.
Like, for a very, very, very long time, ladies.
Let's even expand that. They're 2 single women living together. One of them walks around with a giant L on her chest all the time. I mean...
She's literally branded herself.
I think we should just bring that back as a lesbian thing, is to, like, wear a giant L.
I actually love that.
Right? I mean, we now have the les shirts, and that's certainly an option as well. But you could just even, like, shorthand it, you know?
But it has to be the exact Laverne, like, cursived L.
Yes.
And it's just this secret thing that, like, you can signal to another lesbian.
Secret. How secret is that?
Well, I mean, I'm saying secret, like, the heteros don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Any
Shh, don't tell
heterosexual
them.
person asks you, and they're like, oh, from Laverne and Shirley, that show that's so heterosexual. And you're like, no. No. I love it.
It's not subtle. Let's put it that way.
It's not. Fun fact about that L, also, Penny Marshall asked for that on her costume.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like, when they were fitting her for stuff, there was a letter on her costume, and they were like, oh, we'll get rid of the letter. And she was like, no, turn it into an L. It's my thing now. Like,
Nice.
cool. Yeah. Beautiful.
I mean, look, sometimes when you see an opportunity, you just gotta take it.
You have to take it. Okay, so they live together. They also work together.
Yes, like all lesbians wish they could.
Exactly. We've talked about this before.
Yes. In our U-hauling episode, I think.
Yes, live together, work together, everything together, right?
Everything.
And the outfits, I don't want to stereotype, but the outfits that they wear working at the bottle factory, I feel like many a lesbian would just wear. Like,
Yeah.
just for fun, you know? Seems comfortable, like utilitarian.
The work jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I feel like probably a few of you might have role played as Laverne and Shirley. Just let us know.
Okay, and also, they work at a brewery. Like, come on.
Oh my
You're
God,
trying to
so
tell
gay.
me that you have these 2 single women, I'm doing quotes again, these 2 single women living together who just are super into beer at the brewery. I mean,
Yeah, like, we
That
love,
describes
we
many
love
a lesbian I know.
microbrews.
I know, right? Laverne and Shirley, here's a whole episode discussing their favorite IPAs.
Yes.
Lesbians.
Lesbians. So gay. Oh. And just in general, they always are so close to each other.
It's a little much.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's part of the physical comedy of everything,
Yes.
but they are on top of each other all the time. Like, you live together, ladies. You don't need to both be sitting on the arm of the couch.
But it's not even that. It's also like their faces. Like when they have conversations, their faces are so close together. Like if you ever actually tried to have a conversation with someone with your face that close to them, it would feel so uncomfortable unless
You were dating.
you were with that person.
Yeah.
Romantically. Because there's no other excuse. Like I have tons of friends. I love them, care about them very much. I do not frequently have conversations with them where like my mouth is within like 2 inches of their mouth.
Yeah, only time that ever is if I'm going to kiss someone.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely not platonic, ladies.
It's not even close. Just not even a little bit.
No.
When you look at clips, just really, really pay attention to like the physicality of those two women standing with each other.
In love. They're in love.
They're so together.
I mean, also, I feel like Laverne and Shirley are like weird couple goals. Some couple goals. Sometimes they argue all the time, so I hesitate to be like couple goals. But just the intro sequence itself, it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like let's
adorable.
ride a bike together. Like,
Oh my god, gayest thing ever.
let's hold hands and skip down the street. Like it's a lesbian commercial.
Yes. Can we just discuss the riding bike together and how much I was getting like flashbacks to Skins and like Naomi and Emily? And I'm just like, oh my god.
Yes.
Look, more lesbians. Hooray.
It's so, like, there is nothing more lesbian than riding a tandem bicycle.
Not true. There are a couple things more lesbian than that, which is, for example, there's an episode called Drive, she said, where Shirley wants to buy a car, but doesn't quite have enough money. She needs Laverne to kick in the other half of the money to buy a car together. Because, like, when you make major life purchases, usually you do that with your roommate.
With your best friend?
Yeah, sure.
With your
Or
significant other?
with your significant other and you, like, buy a car together. I mean, I'm just saying, just as an example of, like, other gay things that might have happened on the show is, like, you know, that time they bought a car together.
That what makes 100% sense. And they're like, we're never going to leave each other because we're never
Right.
going to go get married and go somewhere else.
Exactly. It's like you buy a car together, you get a cat together, you know.
Yeah, the usual.
Just the standard lesbian dating steps.
Amazing.
Move in together, get a job together, buy a car together, get a pet together, you know. They're in the manual. If you didn't get your handbook when you signed up,
Let
we'll
us
make
know.
sure to get that to you. When you came out, you should have gotten that in the mail.
It's all good. Yeah, it's just unreal.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/leshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/leshangout.
Let's hang out.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
There were a few other episodes that you noticed too, right, Lee?
Yes, and the next one I think is one of my favorites. It is an early episode, I think it's in season 1 or 2, but it's called Fake Out at the Stakeout. And what I love about this is I'm going to rebrand this episode as Laverne and Shirley's Rack of God moment.
Oh,
so
God.
Some of you remember way back in our second Should Have Been Gay when we discussed Rizzoli and Isles. There is an episode in Rizzoli and Isles where Rizzoli goes undercover at a lesbian bar and Maura Isles plays a waitress at that bar wearing not a lot of clothing. The girls are on very full display, and Jane has a moment with that happening. And it's called the Rack of God moment frequently, and we talked about it. If you missed it, I would go back and check out that episode. But Fake Out at the Stakeout, Laverne goes undercover for, I think, the FBI or something. She, goes undercover. And there's a scene where she walks out in the costume that she's going to wear for this operation. And I'm just going to say, there's some things on display.
Oh, yeah. This is this is the most, done up we ever see Laverne.
And they play it up for the comedy of it, obviously. But, I'm just going to say that she walks out in that outfit and Shirley has to tell her a handful of times how great she looks.
Yep. Her eyes are bugging out of her head.
Yeah. She's into it. Let's be real. So I'm going to call that our early precursor Rack of God moment.
Yes. I love that.
There's also an episode, it's called Honeymoon Hotel. I think Shirley wins a giveaway, wins a package at a hotel, doesn't realize that it's for the honeymoon suite and it's for a honeymoon weekend. And they decide to go.
Together.
Yeah. So there's this whole storyline with Carmine involved, and they're trying to like pretend that Carmine's the husband, but it's basically Laverne and Shirley honeymooning at a hotel. Let's just call it what it is.
Let's be real. Oh my god, that's because she doesn't want to go with Carmine.
Of course not.
She's like, oh, this is so silly. I also think it's funny when you look back at a lot of these older shows, they use gayness as comedy. But, like, joke's on you because it's too believable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, like, not that funny because it's just there.
Well, and it's also, like, joke's on you because you're just making many, many people more aware of, you know, certain things about themselves.
Yep. And they're like, oh, if Laverne and Shirley can go to the honeymoon hotel together.
Yeah, exactly.
We can.
Oh, my God.
And to bring it all home with the gayness... we have to talk about Airport 59.
Yes. It's just, we're all building up to this, right?
Yeah. Which is the episode where Laverne and Shirley are on a flight and the pilot passes out. They have, basically, they have to fly the plane. Laverne flies the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, of course, when you're, like, at your near-death experience... Laverne and Shirley realizes how much she loves Laverne. Right?
Look, thinking you're going to die just has a way of bringing things to the surface.
She's like, well, if I'm going to die, I need to at least have kissed Laverne before I die. And she just kisses her while she's flying the plane.
Yeah. And not only does she kiss her, she kisses her. And then this, I think, is the best line for a show of that era. Immediately following two women kissing is for one of them to turn to the other and say, we'll talk about that later.
Yes!
Like, come on. Come on.
Yes. Like,
that's just a lot.
You know there is some serious processing. Some serious processing that is going to go on after that kiss.
And it's like neither of them looked shocked. Like it's not like Laverne isn't like, oh my god, what are you doing? She's not pushing her away. She's not even surprised. She's just like, we're gonna talk about that later. I have to land this damn plane so that we don't die because we got some shit to work out.
Exactly. She's like, honey, we can't kiss right now.
And here's what I'm saying. That episode was season 3, episode 1. I say you slow burn it for 2 seasons. You have them kiss right out the gate season 3, and then you have some time processing the beginning of that season, and then they get together. But I mean, come on.
You had it right there. It literally is in your plate. They finally land and they're like, oh well, we're alive. So this is sort of weird. They have some weird processing where Shirley's like, oh well, I just kissed you because we were about to die, and Laverne's like, I don't think so. And then they go back and forth. And then finally, Shirley's like, okay, I want to kiss you again.
Yeah.
And then there it is. And then they live happily ever after.
By the standards of what was going to be allowed on television in, late 70s, I think that's about as in your face as you could make it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome that they had them kiss at all.
It's kind of great.
Yeah, it's a lot. Sort of wonderful.
I feel like you look at all of these things and you just feel like the writers are sitting there saying like, oh, here's some good like fan fiction fodder. Oh, let's give them this setup. I mean, it's just like setting after setting after setting for like excellent fan fictions.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. So, Lee, when you were diving into your research, you found some fan fiction. Correct?
Well, okay, so any good research on Should Have Been Gay episode has to include looking up what is the interest here, like what do people ship? Do they ship it? How do they ship it?
Yep.
And so I found an excellent fan fiction that I think we have to recreate part of. It's called The Bed.
Oh God.
And it is by a writer whose handle is Roxy Latour on Archive of Our Own. Thank you, Roxy. And as I mentioned, that writers were just like handing out, ideas for good fanfiction settings.
Yes.
Here, this is an episode, or this is a story based on Honeymoon Hotel. So it's Laverne and Shirley spending the night in the honeymoon suite. That's gonna be our setting, okay?
Amazing.
So, I'm gonna be playing Shirley.
And I'm going to be Laverne, thank God.
Ellie's gonna be Laverne.
So
and we're
excited.
just gonna do a quick dramatic reading of part of the bed. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. For a few long moments, there wasn't a sound to be heard except Laverne's hand sliding across the fabric of Shirley's negligee. This felt good, really good, for both of them. Shirley relished the feel of her friend's hands on her, goosebumps rising en masse across her skin. Laverne studied the contours of Shirley's shoulder blades, memorizing the placement of stray freckles and the way her soft, pale flesh pinkened with each languorous stroke. She had goosebumps of her own to rival Shirley's.
Shirley unconsciously moaned, but quickly caught herself. She shouldn't be enjoying Laverne's touch as much as she was. She wondered if Laverne could somehow tell. Her cheeks once again flushed hot pink, and Laverne's heart rate rose exponentially. She longed to slide her hand under the white chiffon and pull Shirley close, to touch the places she'd only seen in passing. The heat between them was undeniable, though both would have rather died than admit it. Neither made a sound, and the once blessed silence grew heavy until Shirley spoke.
Boy, this sure isn't how I envisioned spending a night in the honeymoon suite at the Pfister.
Shirley had hoped to address the elephant in the room, but Laverne heard sadness in her voice and tried to lighten the mood. Yeah, me neither. But hey, it's free, right? And we had a good time tonight, didn't we?
Oh my god, I love that you're doing the voice. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm in character.
I had to.
Yeah, I guess I just feel kind of screwed up. I mean, we're not kids anymore, Laverne, and we're no closer to getting married than we were when we graduated high school. Sometimes I wonder what we're doing, you know? Shirley turned to face Laverne, her eyes shining with unshed tears. Laverne caught her breath at the sight of her face across the pillows. They hadn't been so close in a long time. Not like this, anyhow. She saw a flicker of recognition in Shirley's eyes as well.
I don't know. Maybe we're doing what's right for us? When our time comes? If it comes, it'll be right. Until then, this feels right to me.
And scene. Oh my god.
And scene.
This feels right to all of us, Laverne.
Oh my god. I hope
think we
that
nailed it.
did. I'm sorry, Penny. Love you. I hope that did you justice.
I like to think she is smiling down on this episode.
I hope so. I really do.
From somewhere.
So, of course, the characters we're shipping are Laverne and Shirley and Lenny and Squiggy. We need to come up with ship names before we wrap this baby up.
I have some contenders.
All right.
But let's take turns. Okay. What would be your top ship name for Laverne and Shirley?
Shavern.
Shavern. I like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, the first thing I thought of was Shervern, but I think Shavern is better.
Yeah.
I also like Defini.
Okay. Their last names.
Their last names. Sometimes you gotta go last names.
I like that.
Yeah. I had another one. What was it?
Shern.
No, it was... Okay, I think you could also do, like, Laverly.
Oh, I like Laverly.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Loverly from...
kind of, right?
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know if it suits them as well.
Okay, I'm almost afraid to ask.
I mean,
No, sorry,
Lenny and Squiggy... My first instinct is Liggy.
Well, I mean, what's your other option? Like, Squinny?
Yeah, the other option is like, Squenny.
Squigny? Squigny.
Squigny. Oh, I like Squigny.
Squigny.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, there's not a ton to work with there. The most obvious one, which is that they open a company together. They have something together, and they call it Squignowski.
Oh, yes.
They named their own ship.
You're right.
I love when
couples name their
on
own
shows
ship.
name their own ship. It's just and do it in a way where they're like not actually doing it. I love it.
Yes. I mean, we could definitely have another episode just on Lenny and Squiggy, but it's okay. We'll just honorable mention Squignowski.
What we really need is someone to start like a brother podcast.
Yes, or we should get some gay men on here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need, like, the gay man equivalent, because we're always focusing on the women, obviously. Because, I mean, it's you and me, and that's what we do. Yes. But, you know, I feel like there's just so many similar options out there that someone could just do, like, an entire series on man-ship.
On man love.
Man. Bro love. I don't know.
Love.
What do you call that?
Whatever you
Yeah.
call it. Romances.
So, yeah.
That's what
so
we
there
call
you go.
them.
If someone wants to do that, please feel free. We would love to see that happening. So Lenny and Squiggy, love you guys. Squignowski, sold. I think the main takeaway here from all of this is Laverne and Shirley
Should have been gay.
should have been gay.
Should have been gay. So obvious.
Oh, God, I love that you did her voice. It's
I
amazing.
had to.
Oh, God, I'm dying. Okay.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from all of you. We love continuing to build this community, and we want to shout out some of the favorite things that have been happening every episode. This week, we really want to shout out the Bechdel cast. We just recorded an episode with them recently that we will be on their podcast talking about Debs, one of our faves.
Of course.
And you should check it out. If you haven't listened to Bechdel cast already, you should really go and listen to all of their episodes. They're fantastic, and we always want to support other podcasts that are female-fronted and super feminist.
Heck yes.
Yes.
And of course, we want to thank our top tier patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Kayla Kelly,
Lizette Stye,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jess Klaus,
Danny Griswold,
Michelle Ray Thomas,
and Mark Foster. Thank you all so much.
And if you want to watch Laverne and Shirley and remember how gay it is while also supporting your favorite actual gays, you can watch it at our Amazon shop, amazon.com/shop/LesHangoutPod.
Remember, you can also find us on all of the social medias. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at leshangoutpod@gmail.com.
You can check out our website at leshangoutpod.com.
Make sure you subscribe so you're the first to get new episodes.
And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have episodes coming out on Thursdays, every other Thursday. You can find that at youtube.com/LesHangoutPod.
And if you want to support the podcast, an easy and free way to do so is to rate and review us on iTunes. It helps other people find the podcast, and we love reading your reviews.
You can also join our Patreon family. We have so much fun. We do all sorts of cool stuff. You will get access to blooper reels. There are a ton from this episode, I guarantee it. We were a hot mess. You get access to Les Essentials viewing parties. We can watch those together and hang out. And we have some live shows coming up. We're going to be trying to organize some meetups with our patrons. So check it out. Patreon.com/LesHangoutPod.
And if you want to get some of our merch, you can go to bit.ly/lesshop. We have a new screw haul design out. We talked about it in our last episode, but gonna keep plugging it because it is so freaking hilarious.
It's amazing.
And I love it. We have, if you want to get an L on your shirt, the next closest thing is to get a Les tank or tee. Show everyone your gay pride. So you can do that at bit.ly/lesshop.
We also have a fundraising page for the Trevor Project. We would love if you donated to that. You can find it at bit.ly/LesTrevor.
And if you want to find us individually, you can find me at Ellie Brigida on Instagram and Twitter.
You can follow me at LSH Foster on Instagram and Twitter.
And with that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast, and with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.